she's a mountain, then you're an ocean.
Hi, everybody. This is Lori, and I am the CEO and founder of Inclusivi-TEA, and we're a company devoted to justice, kindness, and sustainability. And this is our podcast, Inclusiva Talks, which is all about creativity and equity and kindness. And today we are fortunate to have with us Shadrack Musyoki, who is an artist in Kenya. And thank you so much for being here, Shadrack.
Thank you.
Shadrack recently participated in our Artists Who Share auction and has some really beautiful work. And so it's kind of exciting to have you here to hear about your craft. So I wanted to start by just asking you about how you first knew you were an artist. When did you sort of start doing art?
Okay, while I was young, while I was a kid, I started doing some cartoon illustrations. That's when I started working on my craft. But while I was during my primary school, I can say that's when I started trying to copy the real images of items. Then during my campus life, that is my university education, that's when I knew that I could turn this passion into something which could benefit me. So that's when I started working to better my craft.
Now, was anybody else in your family an artist?
Yeah, my grandfather, but he was not that much into art, but he's a creative guy. That's where I borrowed the skills from.
Okay, so he's pretty creative.
Yeah, he's very creative.
And how did your family react when you said, I want to be an artist?
I can say nobody really supported that idea. My mother really wanted me to grow up and become a teacher, same to my dad. So being an artist I can say in our country, it's not something which will pay that much easy. So my parents did not support that. Also, I can say my family, my uncles, also my grandfather did not support that. So I was all alone to follow that dream.
That's very hard. So how about your family now? Are they more accepting of your choice now?
Yeah, in fact, my dad tells my sister to follow my steps because
Wow.
up to where I am right now, I've been able to achieve a lot because and everybody tells my dad, your son is very much hardworking, he's so talented. Then my dad is so much proud of me. So he tells my sister to follow my footsteps. Yeah,
Well, that must feel great.
yeah, I feel great.
So you started really deciding that this could be your craft, that this could be something that you can make a living at when you were how old? In your 20s?
Yeah, in my early 20s.
Okay. And where did you start then? When you first decided, okay, I can do this for a living, where did you start?
I can say during my early 20s, the money I was getting was not enough to sustain my living. Yeah, so I thought I could use my skills to earn some little cash. I never knew that I could earn a lot of money from the talent, so I could just do some small sketches for my friends when they were given some little assignments. Then I could do the sketches in class. Then I could get just little money. Then I kept on perfecting it. So people started telling me to do illustration, nice paintings for their houses. Then I started knowing that this is something actually which can become a main source of income for a person. Then I can also say there's a lot of unemployment in our country. So getting a job is not that easy. So I said maybe it will be a little bit hard for me to get a job once I'm done the schooling. So I chose to find something which could keep me busy before I could get an actual job.
Yeah. So you started really with commissions, with people asking you to do things for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they were paying
Right.
very little, like around 5.
So a little something.
Yeah, they were paying very little for that.
So what kind of work do you do? What is your art right now? What medium do you use?
Right now, I'm using acrylics. Then I'm developing a new style whereby I use metal sheets where I cut out the prints of certain designs which resemble different items like a car, like an animal. Then I spray paint on them to create something very interesting.
So you cut the metal into a
Yeah,
shape.
I cut the metal,
Okay.
yeah, into a certain shape. Then
Oh,
at some point, I put light behind the metal sheet. Then it produces something very beautiful. It's a great type of art. Yeah,
I love that. Shadrack, are there places where people can see your art?
yeah. People can see my artwork in my Facebook. Then also my Instagram. Yeah.
All right, I will post those when I post the podcast.
Okay.
So
Yeah. That'd be a good-
for you, what drew you to art, do you think?
Come up again.
What drew you to art? What is it about art for you that fulfills you?
Okay. My inspiration to do art. First, I can say it's the activities which I face every day, like my lifestyle. That is my first source of inspiration. The second source of my inspiration is other people's work. I can just see a certain style, and I say when I combine my style with a little bit of that style, it can bring out something which is very unique. Then another thing which usually inspires me is the dress code of people, mostly people from Africa. I usually use dress code for my characters in paintings. Then I'm usually inspired by nature. I like getting inspiration from nature. Like in my recent series, I've been doing art tour. So I've been traveling to very interesting and peaceful places. Then I paint from those places. Yeah,
Oh, that's wonderful.
thank you.
And besides doing art, I think that you do some educating, don't you? I believe you said you do some teaching.
Uh, right now, I was able to get some good job. Currently, I'm the project manager in an NGO, a Norway NGO based in Kenya. Yeah, they were able to choose me because of my artistic skills. I can also say my artwork brought me in to do this. So I've been managing their projects.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I've also been able to work with a certain conservancy whereby I do my paintings. Then the people raffle by them using raffles. Then the proceeds go to the conservancy. Then for the teaching, I usually do mentorship, free mentorship for kids. So I teach them art because I usually say if my creativity was mentored at a young age, right now it will be very far.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So how do the children respond to you teaching?
They are very happy. In fact, when I'm conducting the children events, like almost all children participate because they see it like being very fun. And I usually say it's very hard for a child to forget something, doing something creative. So I get each and every child into doing the mural. So I give each child brushes, and they all take part in the painting. Then what they really enjoy most is the outcome of the painting. They should say, I did not believe that it will turn out to be something very beautiful. So that proves to them that actually at a young age they can make something very beautiful. So they will keep on practicing that craft until they grow big. Yeah. So I can say that is an inspiration to them.
And are the are the children's parents pretty supportive of your program?
Uh, like I can say most of the kids I paint with are the children from children homes. Then I can say I still get requests from parents who say come and paint with my kids. Like during the holiday seasons, I had a lot of parents who are bringing their kids saying I want you to support my kid to be creative. I usually see him doing some sketches. Like sometimes when I'm doing paintings, you can see in my studio, I usually have some kids there. So the parents usually drop the kids in my studio in the morning, then they pick them in the evening while they are coming from job. So when the kids are in the studio, actually I give them paint, some clay to play with, so they are very much creative, and I see them enjoying because they don't get tired and start doing other things. Yeah.
That's very nice. So, what are your sort of goals for the future when you look ahead? What do you really want? What are you looking forward to?
Okay. I really want to be a successful artist. That's why I usually wake up every day and keep on bettering my craft. And I also want to be inspiration to other artists. I want other artists to say I was mentored by this big artist. I also want to work on my biography so that clients can see the value of buying my work, because I can say that like right now, a lot of clients usually say, "You are doing amazing things. I'll be back very soon and buy another craft. You are mentoring kids. Wow, that's great. I think I should buy this craft and support you." Yeah, so I want to do those big things so that my clients will see the value of buying my work. Yeah.
And did you say you're working on a biography?
I'm working on my artistic biography. I want to make it one of the most interesting biography. Yeah,
That's a big undertaking.
thank you.
Are you writing it yourself?
Yeah, I've written it because I can say like right now I've been able to achieve a good number of achievements because I usually use my biography during my art shows, and people usually say, "Wow, it's interesting you have been able to achieve this at that age," because I can say like was able to sell crafts to the president of our country, to the first lady or so, and also I was able to be nominated among the top 40 under 40 men in the country. Yeah, so when people see that in my biography, they are like, "Wow, this guy is doing a wonderful job." Yeah.
So, looking back, speaking of all those accomplishments, what is the thing that you feel sort of most proud of? What was the most exciting one for you?
Okay, I can say while there are two, while the president was buying my painting, and also while I was nominated among the top 40, because that's a position I never thought I'd achieve. Yeah, yeah, that came as the biggest achievement, which I never thought I'd achieve. Yeah,
Yeah, that's incredible. When you were younger, did you ever think that you would accomplish all of this?
no, I can say even like 5 years ago, I never thought I'd achieve this. Yeah,
And was there a turning point? Was there a point where you thought, okay, this is it. Like I'm here. I'm really doing this.
yeah, I can say like I was during my initial stages while I was starting the crafts, I was investing a lot, but I was getting little. So I can say I was almost giving up. But I kept on investing, hoping that one day the efforts will start rewarding. Yeah. So, but at some point when I saw people now started getting interested in my craft, now I started now believing now this is what I have to do. I don't have another option. So I kept on working on my crafts. Then when I started seeing now the fruits, now I was sure now I have to be a professional artist. Yeah.
So it sounds like every time something good happened, it probably built on your self-esteem and your belief that you could do it.
Yeah, actually, I could say like having accomplished all those achievements usually makes me feel good about myself, because even each time when I'm given a job by a client, I usually say I was able to achieve all that. Now this job is just like any other achievement. So I'm able to. I usually say like if I was able to achieve that, now I'm able to achieve more. So I that has helped me to believe in myself, and also it has helped me to be able now to take bigger challenges.
I
Yeah.
like so. Besides working on art, what are
Yeah.
the other things that you enjoy doing in your life? What are the other things you're passionate about?
Okay. I can say The other thing is traveling. I like traveling. I travel a lot. Then I also like writing. Like I write a lot. I like expressing myself through writing. Yeah, that's why January I'll be releasing my first book, which is called Awakening Art. Yeah, so most of the time when I'm not doing crafts, I've been working on that book. So I like writing. Even when I travel, I like going to the peaceful places and I start writing. Yeah.
Awakening Art. Tell us a little bit about what that is about.
Okay. Awakening Art is a book which talks basically about my life. How I was able to know I had that talent. I was able to grow it. Yeah, and I think that is something which other artists need so that they can awaken the craft which is in them. And also, Awakening Art is a book which will help people understand crafts, start appreciating other people's work of art, because I can say the way people appreciate crafts in our continent right now, if they read that book, they'll change the way they appreciate the work and now start buying crafts from artists at a reasonable price, because now they know the value of art. So basically, the book talks more of the value when an artist believes in himself, invests in himself. So the book will teach my buyers about the value. Yeah,
That's very exciting. So
yeah.
when is the book coming out?
January.
Oh, that's just such an accomplishment.
Yeah, January 2021. It's a very interesting book. Even the design is very much interesting. Then I'm using very colorful pictures because I want the book to be very much interesting even to the kid. Yeah.
And will that be available on if someone goes to your Facebook page once it comes out, will they be able to order it through there?
First, I will start by selling copies, but I want my clients to have their book. So when a client buys my craft, I'll be giving him a free copy of the book.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah. Also to add value to my work.
Yeah. So Shadrack, when you are working on a project, are you somebody who sees the whole project in your mind before you start, or are you somebody who starts with an idea and then develops it as you go? Do you do a sketch ahead of time? How do you conceptualize that process?
Okay. First of all, when I'm starting with a project, I usually it depends with if the project is commissioned. If the project is commissioned, I have to have the idea because I need to get the client to buy the idea. But if the project is about myself, like I can say like for example the art series, the tour series. Actually, I don't have a concept for that because I like traveling. Then from the inspiration which I'll get from the nature, that's what I paint. So I don't have a full concept of that. But when a client wants a certain kind of commission, I love the concept before I start working on the project. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So you do it both ways.
Yeah, I do it both ways.
So if you had somewhere in the world where you could travel, you said you like to travel, where would be someplace you haven't gone that you would like to?
Okay, first of all, I've never had an experience with snow, so I've never seen snow. So
Very beautiful.
first come to the States.
Okay.
And
Yeah, come to
and
Minnesota.
experience that experience. So during my art tour series, yeah, I will actually like to experience that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, Minnesota in the winter would be, and we would love to have you, so that would be perfect.
Yeah.
So, Shadrack, if you were giving some advice to younger artists, just somebody who's a creative person, what would you say to them? What would be some advice you would give?
Okay. First of all, I will tell them that success is a do-it-yourself project. So they need to believe that they'll have to work on their success themselves. Nobody will come to rescue them. So they need first of all to say that they will work on that. craft. They start bettering their craft. Okay, it won't pay at first, but they have to be patient. As time goes on, now they start seeing their fruits. Then ultimately, now they will start enjoying their fruits a lot than they are enjoying now than they are working. Because like right now, I can say a lot of the fruits I'm enjoying them right now are because of some efforts which were not paid the time I was struggling. Yeah,
So you have to work for it, but it's worth it.
yeah, you'll have to
That
work
dedication.
for it. Yeah, but it will pay at some point. Yeah.
And where you live right now, are things kind of shut down for COVID, or are things pretty open?
I can say right now, like for the place where I'm working, the business is a bit slow because of the second wave. Yeah, we don't have a lot of tourists coming to the country, but yeah, I'm still working. We did not close down our job, so we're still working. And my with the manager, my workers are still working full time. Yeah, and also for the other businesses, some businesses shut down and people lost their jobs, but working to devise new ways in which my projects will sell through COVID. So yeah, we are still struggling and we are hoping that we're going to sell through. Yeah.
Now, you said that you volunteer, are the project manager for the nonprofit. Is that what you said?
No, I'm not a volunteer. I'm actually employed.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I did. And what's the nonprofit? What's the goal of the nonprofit?
Okay, we are running businesses. Then also we also get some donation from Norway. Then what we get, we support sports and we pay school fees for 21 girls in the country who come from an unprivileged background, all the way from their primary school up to their university.
Okay. So you're supporting children in.
Yeah, actually, I'm working. I'm leading the projects which provide the money, which helps like to where we pump the money into the project. So the money we generate from the projects will fund the activities of the whole NGO. Yeah,
Okay. Well, that seems very exciting.
yeah, it's a tough job.
So, if you look back at your life, can you think of a story about your life that kind of just tells us a little bit more about who you are? It doesn't have to be about art, it can be about just anything, but any story from your past life that gives us a picture of you.
Okay, I can say there's this experience I passed through, which shows me that I'm tough. Yeah, it's basically about me while I'm struggling about starting my art career. I can say because I did not have this much funds to be able to buy the art supplies and everything. So I went and started borrowing money from my friends, hoping that when I kickstart the business to start right away.
Mhm.
So and that was not the case. When I started the businesses, people were not even that much supportive to buy my crafts. So I had some huge debt, and people are not buying my crafts. So I started thinking on how I'm going to sail through this. But I can say, with all that, I was able to struggle, and at some point, I met a client now who I managed to convince, and he got my craft. Then I was able now to start paying off, and finally, I finished paying off the debts. So I can say that made me realize that no matter.
Shadrack, welcome back. You disappeared for a minute. What happened?
Okay, I had some little bit of electricity error, but I'm back.
Well, welcome back. So, the last thing I wanted to talk a little bit about is sustainability. So, the podcast now has a focus on sustainability. And for us, sustainability means the whole picture. It means the environment and social justice and the economic equity sustainability. So my question for you is, when you think about sustainability, what do you think, and how do you promote that and act on that in your personal life?
Okay, I can say for me, sustainability means living on Earth with the reduced use of its resources, without depleting its resources. I can say, let me use the word reduced use of its resources. Like I can say reduced use of reduced cut down of trees. I can also say we have reduced emission of carbon dioxide to the environment. Yeah, so that's what it means to me. Yeah,
And do you in your own life try to live as sustainably as you can?
yeah. On my side, I try to do that because I can say like I try to avoid using straws because I had an experience whereby I saw a turtle which had a straw which had pierced through its eye, and it was a very painful experience. So we have these straws from bamboo sticks, which are very much interesting. They are very much reusable, and once they are disposed to the environment, yeah, they can easily decompose. So I try to use such. Then I can say I did a campaign whereby I had drawn a very disturbing image of a gorilla which had plastics all over its face, creating something which looked like a wound. So if you check out in my social media, you will see that. So that was mainly to create a campaign against pollution of the environment by use of plastics, because we had a lot of plastics which were being thrown everywhere. Then at some point, when I see plastics just thrown everywhere, I take that initiative to dispose them at the right place, because I can say where they're being thrown in large numbers, they can reduce the growth of vegetation, and they can also lead to suffocation of animals. Yeah.
So you use your art to talk about some of these kind of social issues and to talk about the environment.
Yeah, and also I'm having a campaign which will be in the year 2021. This campaign is called Art for Trees. Art for Trees is whereby I'm going to do a piece of art. Then we are going to create raffles, which are going for as low as $2. Then each raffle will be used to buy trees. Then we'll select a person who will, from the raffles, a person will win the piece of art, but the proceeds we'll use them now to fund the planting of trees. So from the number of money we'll raise, we'll determine how many trees we are going to plant. Then I'm having my friends. I use my friends as volunteers, so I'm going to take part in the activity of planting the trees. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. I don't know if I told you, Shadrack, that I just wrote a book on sustainable living. And one of the things that I talk about in the book's coming out. Well, it's at the editors right now, and it's coming out. The ebook will be available at the end of December, and the hard copies will be available in April for Earth Day. But one of the things we talk about is planting trees and not using disposable straws. So, or two of the things we talk about. So, anyway, it's just funny that you talked about those because they're directly things that are in the book. So that's very cool.
Thank you.
And wonderful that you can use your art as a platform for helping with these things.
Yeah.
So that's pretty wonderful. So any kind of last minute words that you'd like to say, anything we haven't talked about that you would like to before we close?
Okay. I wanted to talk about my shows, the kids shows which I usually do, and I also want to talk about some kind of art therapy, which is more about showing like protecting other people. Okay, like first let me start with the art therapy. Right now I can say, because of the effects from COVID-19. We have a lot of people who have lost jobs. We have people who are really facing a lot in life. So we have this depressed nation. So I usually use my art also as something which is therapeutic. So when I get this person who is a little bit depressed, I organize for a painting session because painting, when they get the canvas, they pour out what they have been holding in their heart on the canvas. Then while they are painting, they are able to interact with the colors and see how beautiful colors are, and that is a bit therapeutic. So for the ones who have been able to work with them, they've been saying that is healing. Yeah. So basically, it's a volunteer. It's a volunteer. I can say it's a volunteer activity because I find that these people who are facing depression, they can raise money. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Then the other thing is the children events. So basically, the children events actually get a lot of children who are turning up.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is something which is really very much encouraging. Then I can say now to the other artists, yeah, it's always very good now to mentor the young generation as they grow up because once we mentor them, I usually say once we mentor them at the young age, now these people will grow with this creative mind, so they are able to get involved in the creative activities that will help to reduce some of the issues in the society like drug abuse, early marriages, early pregnancies, also theft. That art is a source of employment, so we'll have a little crime. Then also always have something I usually say: the cure to unemployment is self-employment. So once we teach these people how to raise money for themselves, now we'll be able to curb this issue of unemployment. Yeah.
So art is your passion and also your um, mission and the way that you give back to the world in so many different ways.
Yeah, so I usually twist my art to suit with the activity I'm doing. Yeah, so I can whatever I'm doing, whatever event I'm doing, I usually twist my art to fit in that event, and it's usually fit very well. Yeah.
So one last question that kind of came up because you were talking about that. What do you think as far as healing? Why is art healing? From your perspective, what is it about art that causes that?
I usually say like when I'm when I'm in the process of creating art, I usually use all my mind there, trying to see how at the end of the day something at the end of the process how something will look like. So if I'm concentrated in the piece for around 2 to 3 days, now I will have limited time now to think about other things which are disturbing, and also while I'm in the process of creating when I'm seeing how something is turning to be beautiful, now it brings about that happiness in my heart. So it does away with the sad feeling. So at the end of the day, something which was making me feel bad, I find myself happy about the piece I was doing. Yeah.
So not only does it give you something to distract you, so something to pull you away from the feelings, but at the end of it, there's this product that brings these good feelings.
Yeah, something you are happy about. Then once you post it on social media, people are very much happy about that. You just feel good about yourself, then you forget the bad feel, the negative feel. Yeah, so it has been very much healing to me. Yeah,
So are you talking about that in your book?
yeah, I capture all that.
Good.
Yeah,
So I think that's important and it will be an important thing for people to read. Shadrack, anything else?
yeah. I think now we are done. I've been able to capture most of
All right,
most
well,
of my
thank you
yeah,
so much. It was a pleasure to see you again, and I suspect we'll see each other more in the future.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Everybody, this has been Inclusivi-TEA Sustainability with our guest, Shadrack Musyoki. Thank you for being here.
If she's a mountain